name is Carol Clifford, and I have been a friend and colleague of Lorraine for a number of years, so it's been my pleasure to introduce her. Lorraine Magnani, educator, nurse, professor emeritus, and author, who has come today to share with us her work that she has given birth to with a very long pregnancy. So it's my pleasure to introduce Lorraine and ask her to share with us some thoughts and some readings from her book.
Oh. And thank you to all of you, each and every one of you, for such a warm welcome. The book. Stand Naked in the Wind is a story of love, a story of commitment, personal sacrifice, abortion, rape, and death. All the ingredients are facts of life, especially for nurses. The title is from The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. The entire quote is, "For what is it to die but to stand naked in the wind and melt in the sun?" Each chapter begins with a relevant, at least I think is relevant, Gibran quote. The story takes place in the 70s. Kate DeMeo is a nurse. She leads a happy life. According to Kate, it's a perfect, perfect life. Then, suddenly, her husband is transferred to Europe. Kate, being the good wife of the 70s era, follows, leaving behind her family, friends, 2 children in college, her job, in other words, her perfect life. Quote, "My eve is in truth my dawn," end quote. She was lying on the cold tile floor in the corner of the room, her right foot caught up in a tangled bedsheet. IVs and medications had been cut. She had become just another terminal patient to be avoided. Paul helped me to put her back into bed. Her lips were cracked and dry. After a fruitless search for glycerin on the medication shelf, I found a cocoa butter suppository. I melted it in the palm of my hand and put some on her lips as gently as I could. There was nothing else to do, nothing else to be done for this 43-year-old Caucasian female, slipping away centimeter by centimeter, breath by breath. I undid my fist. What was left of the cocoa butter was slipping through the cracks between my fingers. Madame Gaspard died on St. Valentine's Day. Although I was not a stranger to death, I never became accustomed to it. With each patient's passing, I felt a sort of tremor, a sadness, an undefined hollowness within me. But I did think about the person who once lived in that body, the person who breathed life, who was once young and strong, happy, and in love. Now that person was no more. Nothing was left except the outward sign, the sole remainder of our fragile existence. Embalming didn't exist in Brussels as it did in New York, so nurses had the unpleasant task of stuffing all of the body cavities with wads of cotton. I hated jamming cotton into the nare's mouth, rectum, vagina, and wounds with ugly, ugly, long metal forceps. Sometimes their eyes would pop open and stare at me in protest. I'd quickly close them with the tips of my fingers, trying to avoid the accusation I saw there. In New York, I frequently had difficulty winding the gauze around the head and chin so that the jaw wouldn't gape open. Sometimes it helped to tip the head back a little, but the most difficult part for me was tying the identifying tag on a great toe. In Brussels, the worst was putting on the clothing. Only what would be seen was necessary. Then clean sheets. The top sheet would have exactly 5 pleats, not 4, not 6. 5 was tradition. The room had to be neat and all the clutter removed as if to deny that the illness ever existed. Madame Gaspard would be, if only for the next few days, receiving more attention, dead than alive. Okay, that's it. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Lorraine, how long did it take you to write the novel? It was great.
Okay, 9/10 of the book was done in 9 months. So that was, I had trouble putting the end together. But it took 30 years to publish. So. Oh, yeah.
I had a question. Since, I mean, there's certainly the story, but underlying the story, you kind of chronicled the women's movement. And was that another purpose of the book? I mean,
Yes, that
okay.
definitely, I wrote it as a feminist book.
Okay.
And I gave out a lot of books, as you probably know. And I met this woman, and I said, you know, you sound like a women's libber. I said, you might like my book. So she said, am I a women's libber? She said, I not only lay down in traffic, I took my bra off while I was doing it. And I thought how timid I was. No, I stood on a car, on a police car with my big sign, you know, and that was 69? 69. You know, and I couldn't top that one. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
Do you think that the feminist movement has helped nursing? I think we all have seen some very positive change, but how would you say that the feminist movement has helped move nursing ahead as a profession?
Because nurses now should have had a long time ago their own profession, their own things that they do. It has nothing to do with physicians. I think the women's movement has helped because it's gotten a lot of people who wouldn't stand up on their feet to stand up. And yeah, it is a feminist book. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I want to thank Lorraine for coming and spending the afternoon with us. I know how happy so many of us are to, to have a chance to see her again, and that Luke came, and Lorraine's grandson is here as well, so that's nice. Lorraine is going to sign copies of her book. Some of you who already have a copy, you are welcome to have it autographed as well. Lorraine and Lou have told me that they are generously contributing whatever monies are raised when the book's being sold today. We're going to go to Molloy, which is very gracious and generous of them. And in top of that, the book's been discounted by 20%. So if you would like to make out your check to Molloy College, or me, but for $18.37, I would be happy to help you. Lorraine's going to sign her book for you, but Valerie Collins wanted to say a word first, and then I believe Janine is going to win at the end.
I just wanted to thank Lorraine and Lou for being with us this afternoon. And, Lorraine told you a little bit about herself. She didn't tell you that in addition to the Molloy degree, she really did some groundbreaking work with the concept of hardiness. And I think that's something you followed through, in what I see with me today, that I think is very significant. And it's also very noteworthy that Lorraine was one of the small group that started the master's program at Molloy College. And now when we have 6 masters approved and the PhD pending, already approved by the state of New York, we're just waiting middle states, it's hard to believe what a groundbreaking effort that really was. And Lorraine provided significant leadership during that period, and also shortly thereafter assumed a leadership role in terms of leading the graduate program, and I think being a role model for her colleagues and her students. So I just want to give you a very small token of our affection and to thank you again for coming.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you. Thanks a lot, really.